social media strategy for roofing contractors, video production. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, and we'll start off by just kind of going over what we'll talk about today. So we're going to talk about how to create video content for social media. Social media content it's extremely important for your business. So we're going to help you put together a weekly planning process, a perfect framework. The perfect framework for that. Let me get my camera back on for everyone. The perfect video framework. So I'm really good at working in frameworks. I don't know about you guys, but like if I have to make things up from scratch, I have a hard time with that. So I've put together these frameworks or found these frameworks that I can use. And some of the top people in the industry, I'll show you their little secrets that they're using. How to syndicate that content for maximum reach, and then how to repurpose that content for increasing the frequency of your posts and just because you want more people to see them. So turn off your cell phones, turn off Facebook, for the next 60 minutes, let's lock in. Feel free to ask questions, drop them in the chat. We'll pause for questions at certain points in times. You can unmute and have that conversation then. If you want to ask anything, put a 1 in the chat if you're familiar with me. Jim Aline, I'm the co-founder of Roofer Marketers. I'm the general manager of Job Nimbus's marketing services division now, as Job Nimbus and Roofer Marketers have merged together, or Job Nimbus has acquired Roofer Marketers. And so I speak at a lot of industry events. I'm the co-author of 2 books, The Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, The Best Known Roofer. I host the Roofing Success podcast. We're Limitless Roofing GPO members. We're ICO Roof Pro partners. I am the marketing coach in Adam Bensman's Pitch Pro movement.
This is
Everyone
Brad
check
Mills
that
guy
out.
that we had all those issues with.
Everyone check that out. We're a certified Google partner. We really do this every day. This is what we've been doing since 2018, is digital marketing for roofing contractors, which includes social media marketing. So in our framework, in our philosophy, we base that around 3 core principles. The first is to maximize the opportunity to generate a lead for your business. And social media is a big part of that, right? There is such an opportunity, if you do your social media right, to drive revenue for your business. And that happens a lot because of our second core principle. And that's how the maximization of your brand impressions. And so the more times people see you, they get to know you, like you, trust you, right? I was talking to a gentleman yesterday about truck wraps and yard signs. And he was like, man, after I wrap my trucks, I just we were having different conversations. And it's because people are seeing you everywhere all the time. And so social media is another way to do that, right? Another way to get those brand impressions, as high as possible. And then the third is to maximize conversions. There are lots of ways to do this. In regards to social media marketing, you're building trust. There was a stat that I read not long ago that said that 70 today in 2022, 23, 20, going forward in the 2020s, about 70% of the buying decision is made before people reach out to you, right? Before they make that phone call. So in relation to that, right, the more that they see you, the better you're building that trust, the higher your conversion rate is going to be. I'm friends with a great sales trainer named Chuck Toki. He's a great roofing sales trainer. And he had talked about when he worked at Able Roof, Mr. Roof as the vice president of sales there, that they would go out to people's houses and the customers, they would be looking for a way to work with them, right? They were trying to work with them versus trying to find the best price or the best, the brand presence that they had in their marketplace helped to maximize the conversion rate of the sales reps. So, we all watch it. A lot of people probably watch that Social Dilemma, right? So this is the social dilemma for, for contractors. Um, the dilemma, and I don't know if you guys feel this about your social media, maybe put inconsistent in chat if you feel that if you don't need how to spell that, you can just put an I or something, right? Like drop an I in the chat if you feel that you are inconsistent in your social media efforts. So, I talk to so many contractors, out at the shows, at different events, and you know, and it's like, man, it's that consistency. It's hard to be consistent. Stuff's coming up. We got this going on. We got that going on. The consistency of in your social media is what makes it powerful, but it's where the problem lies for a lot of people. Another part is creativity takes ages, right? Put a C in the chat if you feel like, man, this is like, it's so hard. I don't know what to put a post up about. I don't know what to make a video about. It looks like my camera froze again. Let me pop that back on. All right, there we are. It's the creativity, man. And like I told you, this is where I've struggled the most in all of my video content. I mean, if you look at our social media, you see that we produce a ton of video content, but I struggled with this for years and years and years. I started doing video early 2009, 10, 11. I was doing video for online and things like that. And man, that was the struggle. What do you do? What do you make posts about? But I'll tell you, if you get consistent, if we can solve for that inconsistency, the creativity starts to evolve. And we'll talk about that a little bit. The other thing is, all of a sudden you spend all that time, you come up with a great idea, you drop it on social media, and nothing happens, right? Like we hope maybe your grandma likes your post, right? Like if you're lucky, right? Like it becomes a very, very challenging thing. That, man, I thought I did a good job of this and nothing happened. So I see that as a big problem and a big struggle, a dilemma that contractors are facing all the time. And so that becomes the failure, right? The low authority, low positioning, low organic momentum. But, it's okay, because these are all just problems that we can solve, right? I always like to look at the opportunity in the problems that we're facing, right? If we're having a sales problem in our business, we could fix that. If we're having a marketing problem in our business, we could fix that. If you're having a production problem, if you're having problems finding good crews, all of these things are just opportunities to grow and build your business. So now, out of that or of something else, like drop it in the chat. Like, what is the hardest part of creating content to you? What do you guys think is the hardest part of creating content online, or what struggles have you faced? It usually takes a second for everyone to type a little bit, so we'll leave it there. Have some extra coffee today. All right. Jerry says, being able to have a message that isn't tuned to one audience. That's an interesting idea, Jerry. We could talk about that. Like, how do you have a broad message? Another thing to think about in that is, how do you make multiple pieces of content that touch different audiences, right? So you may have different customer avatars, different, like formal name ICPs and like things like that you talk about. Like, it's like, man, how do we speak to that perfect customer, right? That's a big challenge. Um, Alex says getting stuck on, how much is that? Uh, uh, 100,000 before and afters. Don't really know what else to do. Losing creativity. Diana said not knowing how to design it properly, what to say. There's so many challenges in this, right? So it's hard. It's hard to create content every day. For the people that do it, man, I commend you, right? Because it's a big, big deal. So let's talk a little bit about, kind of how to systematize this a little bit, right? Content flows. You want to make like I always talk about, like, I used to train people on doing video content specifically. Video blogging is what we used to, like, that's how long ago I was doing this. Like, so video blogging back in like 2012, 2013, I was training realtors on video blogging. And what would happen is they would try to get this consistency in their content and this flow of content, but it was like, what do we do? I don't know what to do. We would start with like a core list of like, hey, these are some frameworks that we could talk about. These are some questions we can answer. And then all of a sudden, it's the strangest thing, as after you start doing it, you start to see content everywhere. So the content starts to flow from one thing to another, but you want to paint by numbers, right? It's like in the beginning, you want to make sure that that you have this kind of outline, and you just fill it in with some color, and that's how you'll get to that's how you'll build that muscle, right? So starting with a framework, starting to get the, like, what you need to be doing, and then just executing on that over and over again, all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I know what to do. That's an easy thing. And that will end up, making you a prolific content creator. It is amazing how this just builds upon itself and builds upon itself. We all suck at stuff, right? Like, especially in the beginning. It's like, I just had a conversation with my son recently, and let me turn my camera back on here. I got a conversation with my son. I have 8-year-old twin boys, and he, man, he loves facts and animals, and he was researching, or we were having a conversation. A cousin of mine was in town, and we were having a conversation. He's a teacher, and so he was asking them questions about things that they've learned and things that they know, and it was like the question of what's the largest sea creature, ever came up. And my 8-year-old son James said it was a megalodon, right? And my cousin said, I think it was a blue whale. And so we look it up, it's a blue whale. And he was crushed that he didn't know the right answer, right? Now, a megalodon it happens that that's the largest fish that has ever, lived, and, blue whales and mammals. So it's like these weird things, but he was crushed. He was devastated that he didn't have the right answer. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, that's how we start out. Like, anytime we're starting something new, we're just like, we're so embarrassed or whatever it is that we don't just that we stop a lot of times. But if you can make it through that, you'll break through into this prolific status, and that's where the success comes from. Becoming a market leader, right? New leads coming in from, on a really regular basis, having new lead flow coming in all the time for your business. And that's what we're really looking for, right? That's what we want. So why do you want to do this, right? Like, what do you want what do you think would be the benefit of having a good, consistent social media presence? What would that, put in your personal reason in the chat? Drop it in the chat. What's your personal reason? Like, what is the reason that you, for some reason, like, you're taking an hour out of your day to be here with us, to learn about this? What is your reason that you believe, if I do this, I think that this will happen in my business? I know the outcomes for some. There's a podcast that I just, yeah, Ignacio says more business, right? There's some unintended consequences of this. It's what I'll put, unintended consequences. Ignacio says more business. That's awesome. I just did a podcast recently with Miller Storm down in Dallas, and Jay Miller is the owner, and he started doing video content, and what he didn't see from it, that he didn't really think about for, as like the key driver, he's starting to have people come to him to work for him. Like, that's one of those things. Like, a lot of times we're looking at, man, this will, like Ignacio said, more business, right? Like, we're looking at that lead flow. We want that lead flow. We want the next deal. But from another perspective, my goodness, like, this is like, there's all these added benefits that you don't even know will happen. It's so cool. Jamie said, new to marketing, learning from scratch, first webinar. Well, that's awesome, Jamie. I'm glad to have you. It's so yeah, there's so much cool stuff that can happen. So let's talk about the 5 key principles to make this work in your business. You know, the first core principle is to come up with topics in advance. Like, this is what I mentioned when I used to help train realtors on this, is we would come up with like this list of questions that would, you know, that they could just answer to make it easier, right? The second thing that I think is impactful is to shoot these videos in batches. Take an hour, sit down, shoot some videos, then you'll have them for later, right? So, because stuff comes up, right? Stuff always comes up. So the third thing that we want to do is freestyle in a framework. Man, put a 1 in the chat if you know who Adam, if you know or are a fan of Adam Bensman, the roof strategist. It's one of my good friends. I'm the marketing coach in the Pitch Pro movement, and Adam, man, like, if you've ever watched his YouTube videos, they just flow. Like, he is just on it every time. It's like, how does this guy do it, right? Like, it's that type of thing. It's freestyling in a framework, and that framework in the beginning is what's most important. So we'll talk about that. Then we need to amplify your reach, right? We don't want to hear crickets, like we talked about as the problem, right? We want to amplify that reach and position, remove yourself from the posting aspect of it, so that you can really be doing this a little bit on autopilot, right? So you could be doing this on autopilot. And so in this, we'll continue here. So there's this book that was written, it's been some years now, but it's called Content Rules, and it talks about the people who are on your social media networks, right? Like, so 90% of people on social media are lurkers. They don't interact. They just see the posts, right? They don't hit a like button. They don't comment. They don't do anything. 9% are contributors. Those are the people that like, comment, share, those types of things. Then you have your creators. And being a creator, you become the 1% immediately, right? By putting yourself out there, you become part of the 1% immediately. There are not a lot of people that are creators. And so it's very imperative for you to do that in your business. Some other stats, right? Like 65% of all Facebook views, video views, come from mobile users. So people are on their phones all the time. 85% of Facebook users watch the video with the sound off. So there's lots of cool little editing tools and things like that that'll add subtitles in. And most people watch 10 seconds or less. The reason they watch 10 seconds or less is because there's no hook. And that's the framework that we're going to talk about. There's no hook to get people like, hey, this is This is for me. This is a great thing for me. And so you want to keep the content bite-sized. It has to be 3 minutes or less, right? Like, you want to keep these small, short videos going. You want to not hit the same key every time. So if I go and scroll your social media feed and the only thing I see is before and after, 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 it gets boring, right? So what if I see a before and after of a project, a video about a problem that you solve, a testimonial from a customer, something about your team, and someone around the office or something like that. That is so much more interesting. So we don't want to hit the same key every time. So what I want to show you is a couple of these 1%ers in the roofing industry. Adam, for one, is one of my favorite people. Let me share my sound real quick, and I'm going to hit Adam's video.
In this video, I'm going to be teaching you the confidence and motivation killers that we all succumb to. And this topic came up inside the Pitch Pro movement from a member who's actually smashing his income goals and earning about $20,000 a month and saying, how do I stay motivated? And maybe you're not quite there yet. Maybe you've never been there. Maybe you're brand new and you're experiencing a struggle with confidence and feeling motivated and wondering whether or not this industry is for you. Do you believe in the industry, or do you believe in the company you're selling?
Someone said the volume's too low, so let me turn that up.
For all of this is mental poison that can prohibit you or keep you from experiencing true success in the roofing industry. So in this video, broadcasted from our brand new studio, hopefully with better audio quality and no screaming microphone, I'm going to be teaching you how to spot these motivation killers, and then a couple of very simple practices to help you break through so you can keep motivated no matter what. Hey, welcome back. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Adam Bensman, the Roof Strategist, and everything I do here,
I want to point out a couple of things. So for the first thing he did was he kind of talked about what he's going to talk about, right? He didn't introduce himself right away. So there's a little bit of a framework going on that I start
this
thinking
YouTube
about.
Channel and my podcast is designed to help you smash your income goals and give every customer an amazing experience. Now, if you haven't yet done it, head on over to theroofstrategist.com right now, and I'm going to send you a free copy of my Pitch Like a Pro Roofing Sales Training Video Library, organized by category, and it's a fantastic and free tool for new sales reps or owners. If you're running a team, get this in the hands of each and every team member. Now, let's hop back into today's video on the confidence and motivation killers. All right. Now,
so he even threw in a little commercial for his company, like for
in this video, I'm going to be teaching you where you are and then feeling of like crossing the confidence
then he tells
killers,
you
the 5 confidence and motivation
things,
killers, and say, hey, that's what I'm experiencing. And I don't see you motivated when times are tough. I want to hear it, and your answers will inspire the wonderful community that is being built here on the Roof Strategist YouTube channel. And if you want more videos on confidence, click this playlist. And if you haven't yet done it, click right here to download a free copy of my Pitch Like a Pro Roofing Sales Training Video Library. And I'll see you on the next one.
So you notice then at the end, he's telling you what he would like you to do next. So we go into another one here.
Out here in the Metroplex with industry friend and colleague Chad Hughes, owner of Deluxe Roofing and Construction, and he recently just had a PA get this claim awarded for him. It is a restoration on one part of the roof that's divided by an expansion joint that has some single ply. So he's working up the replacement portion on the restoration, and then on the other side of the expansion joint, the single ply, he was looking at buying some longevity to that system by doing a waterproofing with a high solid silicone. So he brought me in, we've walked the roof today, we're discussing kind of a plan of action. He's going to get with his client and then get back with me, and then we'll have the manufacturer spec out and take a look at the single ply system.
So you can see here, like Jonathan, he's talking about
Prior
what
to the
they're
restoration,
doing.
This project rolling. Roofers helping roofers. Texas.
Talking about what they're doing.
Roofers helping roofers. Texas. Everybody wins.
Yep. And then another one here. This is I just did a podcast episode with the owner of Texas Select Construction here. And they do a good job of going out and doing these videos just on site, right? Like these quick videos on site, having a conversation. They don't, Adams and Jonathan's, they're a little more professional. They're edited, things like that. But let's check out this one from Texas Select.
Good.
Hey guys, Matt Cook here with Texas Select Construction, roofing, your roofing coach.
Not high sound, not great quality of production.
And we got a customer that called about 2 weeks ago, and she asked if we would come out and look at her roof. She thought maybe she had some damage from previous hail. So
why they're there, what problem they're solving.
We met with the adjuster, and the adjuster said, yeah, you got hail, we're gonna buy this roof. So today is install day. We've been here since about 7. Roofers are working hard. It's not quite hot, it's really nice. So they're working through it. We're about 3/4 of the way done. You can kind of see behind me. We took off a 3-tab shingle, and we are upgrading, which is pretty cool. So an Owens Corning laminate shingle. It's black on it.
So explaining what's going on, explaining what the crews are doing.
That's our upgrade for more ventilated day.
So again, you don't
We'd love
have
for
to
you
be
give us a call
perfect,
if you
right?
have any needs. We can walk you through the process. It's an easy process, but sometimes people just don't know.
Call
That's
to
what we really
action.
pride ourselves on is coaching the customer through the issues, through the process, making it simple, making it easy. And like we said, this was less than 2 weeks ago, and we are already installing. Customer's super happy so far, and we know we're going to make her real happy when it's all said.
So things like that, building trust. Hey, it's only been 2 weeks. Like the storm was 2 weeks ago. We're already working. Those are things that are touching, that are connecting with. That's right. Zoom user said nothing wrong with amateur production. That's right. Amateur production is perfect. That's why I want to show you some of these. But then, things that thinking about what the homeowner's thinking, what the building owner's thinking, hey man, wow, they're out here filed, 2 weeks later, we're building the roof. Like it's a good thing. And then just a call to action at the end.
Select Construction. My name is Matt, 817-680-3134. Give me a call.
All right. This is Rainey with Next Gen Construction up in Rainey likes to he's more of a storyteller all day long. He'll just pull out his phone and start talking about what they're doing. He's been doing it for a long time. You can see this is from 2021.
Hey everyone, it's a very special day here at Next Gen. We are installing our COVID-19 relief roof giveaway over here in Granby.
Talking about things they're doing in the community.
She had a roof installed about 15 years ago. They did a terrible job. The installation practices were horrible. It's been leaking for years. She lost her husband, living on Social Security. And it's with the rising costs, it's tough to come up with the dough sometimes to do the maintenance needed. So we're doing this roof. We've partnered with GAF. It's 100% free, zero out-of-pocket expense for Mrs. Akuski. We're really proud to be able to do this and give back. We had to rip all the plywood off the entire roof. There was some mold issues going on in the attic. We treated all the rafters, installed all new plywood, all new roofing. She's going to get a great warranty. It's going to be one part of her life that she's never going to have to worry about again, and we're super thankful.
Think that
we were
a video
able to
like
do
this builds
for her.
trust, right? Okay, we're doing this, work for someone. It's a roof giveaway winner. Like this is what's going on. This is why. Dave said he has a background in
These guys are busting their butts.
Cinematography.
We're gonna have this
help out. Man,
Lick
this is
probably in the next few hours.
It's a great thing to do, right? Yes.
Thanks for watching, guys. Your continued support has been really helpful in growing this business, and we're hoping to do more feel-good stuff like this in the future. Hope everyone has a blessed day.
One thing he said at the end, right? Like, hey, thanks for your support. Thanks for helping me grow this small business, right? Thanks for helping us. People want to be a part of your journey. They don't, they're not looking at you like they want to be involved. They want to buy into that. So go to this one. This is my buddy Andrew Ittenauer. You can see like all the stuff in the review. So Andrew, I'll tell you Andrew's story real quick. Let me fix my camera again. I'm having camera issues today, but Andrew has a great story. So Andrew's father started Masters Roofing in Memphis. He grew up in the shop, right? Like he grew up with the team around around everyone, and he was that little kid running around. And as he got into his 20s, he's worked in different things in the business, and then he got into sales, roofing sales in his 20s, mid 20s. The guys around the office would give him a hard time, like about that social media stuff you're doing. And so first of all, he had to prove himself as a sales rep, and he did. He sold. You can go back and check out the episodes I've done with him on the Roofing Success podcast. Check out Andrew, but like you could hear more of his story. But I think it's like in one of his first years in sales, he became the top sales rep in the company. And he was explaining, man, a lot of this is coming from my social media presence. And everyone's like, nah, whatever. Like, I don't believe it. So he decided that he was going to not go door to door, not drop a brochure off anywhere, not do anything but Instagram. This is crazy. Not do anything but Instagram. He sold $2 million worth of roofs doing just Instagram, and was also, it was like close to 2 million, I think, and only did Instagram posts, right? And so here's an example of what Andrew does.
I saved a homeowner from a nightmare. This flat roof section was an
Notice he started off, I saved this homeowner from a nightmare, right? Like, if you're a homeowner listening to this, it's like, man, you did what? You helped out how?
Absolute disaster from start to finish. It had 2 skylights in the middle of it, caulked with tar. The whole flat roof was, probably 40 to 50 years old at the time. And the contractor they were going with was saying that they weren't going to replace it and that it was fine because it wasn't leaking. Not the case. It was a big problem. They just didn't see it on the inside of their home. So good thing is we're doing a new TPO, which is a commercial grade roof. We boxed up the skylights because the homeowner didn't want it anymore. And I think it's going to look great when we get done. Right now it's kind of a mess, but that's because it's roofing. That's how it is. Anyways, but I appreciate you guys for always tuning in. My number is 901-387-7439, and I'm Andrew with Masters Roofing. And this is one that I'm proud.
This is what we're doing. We're solving problems out here. This is what we're doing, right? So now let's drop a 1 in the chat if you want to, let's talk about more about here's how it's done, right? Let's get into the details. Let's put this into play. Let's get this executed in your business. Drop a 1 in the chat if you want to move on here. All right, we're going to give you the simple frameworks, right? The simple frameworks to get started. That's what we want. We want something simple. So we're going to start with building out that content plan, right? So in a monthly plan, this is kind of what it looks like, right? So you're going to come up with different general categories of conversations that you're going to have. So some of these general categories I've laid out on this document here: a success story, a character story, teaching on a topic, motivation, being the expert. So those are the categories, right? Now we develop questions within those categories. So in that success story, showing a before and after of a recent project, that would be a success story. Telling your origin story, that would be a character story, right? What drove you to start a roofing company or to get into roofing sales, or what drives you on a day-to-day basis? Teaching on a topic. Hey, when to repair versus replace when there's hail damage, right? That would be a topic that you could teach on. Motivation. Share your favorite, your favorite quote, your favorite mantra, what it means to you, how it's helped you. That could be a motivational thing. People then learn about you, right? They learn, wow, this person, wow, that's really intuitive. Like that person's really involved. Like, man, I like that too. That's a great quote. And so they connect with you. Being the expert, showing a tool that solves a particular problem. Something as simple as, if you guys use a catch-all, right? Hey, this is a catch-all, this is what it does, or here's our equipter, here's what this does, or the different ladders you use and why you do them and how it doesn't damage the gutters when you get up on the roof, and what cougar paws, and you know what I mean? Like there's all these things that you could just talk about that solve a problem. You could talk about the hail software that you use. If you use Hail Trace or Hail Recon or whoever you use there, again, why you use it and how you use it. If you're in a storm restoration market, there's so many ideas. Do you see how there's so many ideas that could flow from this, right? Just in these categories, right? So being the expert, hey, describe an answer that's frequently asked by homeowners. If you don't know, ask your sales reps, right? Hey, what question do you get most often? So if you're a sales rep, it's easy. If you're not a sales rep, ask your sales rep. Hey, what questions are you getting at the kitchen table, right? What are people asking about? Teaching on a topic, what's the typical cost of a roof in your area? Common problems that the homeowners face, common struggles. Another character story might be talking about someone who inspired you. Ask your community who inspires them, right? Sharing a book. I just did a podcast episode yesterday that'll be released probably in September. The company started a book club. So they're having these conversations about these books like that in there. And man, all of these things just build authenticity of your brand. They also give you that framework of, hey, I don't have to think about this, right? I know what I'm going to talk about. It's easy. Here we go. Here's what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to share a statistic related to the roofing industry and explain why it's important to homeowners, right? I'm going to explain or I'm going to share a story about someone who helped me get started. All of these things. Why is roof maintenance important? All of these things are just topics that you can create your social media content planner around. Then from there, we have to understand how to express what we're doing. It's funny. I was at I spoke at a conference last week on motivation and productivity and leadership, and I shared a video. I wish I had it here. I shared a video of a video that I shot 4 or 5 years ago. And it was me fumbling over words and saying the wrong thing. And it was terrible, right? But we all start in different places. And so, you're not going to get this right. But when you have this framework, when you have kind of something to work off of, I believe that it's much easier. So now let's talk about this framework. So the first thing in the framework is the promise. This is like the hook, right? We want to hook someone in. Adam Bensman does this probably better than anyone I've ever known, right? So then you're going to talk, maybe you bring in like, introduce yourself. Then you're going to seed what you're going to talk about. Then you're going to talk about what you're going to talk about. Then you're going to have a call to action and sign off. Seems simple? Drop a 1 in the chat if that seems simple to you. Simple enough that you can actually execute on this and get started. Right? Really simple. Simple is what we need in these situations. So now let's move on to an example here, right? We have an example. So the promise, right? On this video, I'm going to share with you how to determine what your roof might cost in the Minneapolis area. My name is Jim Aline. I'm here with Joe's Roofing. That's my branding, right? My seed is, this is one of the most common questions that we get from homeowners. What does a roof cost, right? How much will it cost to replace my roof? So let me get into how and what determines those specific, the specific things that go into the cost of your roof. So some things that go into the cost of your roof are the pitch and slope of your roof, the peaks and valleys, the roof accessibility, the materials that we're using, removal of, if we have to remove the decking or replace the decking, or if we can just, what the roofing system components involved. And you could go on in this topic, have this conversation about what goes into and how you determine the cost of that roof, what a homeowner may think that roof for their roof to what they might end up paying for that roof. And then, if you'd like to receive a detailed estimate on replacing your roof, please visit our website at joesroofing.com to schedule your free estimate or inspection. Thanks for joining me on this quick video. Talk to you soon, right? So now we have our promise, our branding, our seed, our topic and training, call to action, and we sign off. Simple and easy to kind of do. Then you don't have to think of the exact words each time, right? It's just, hey, I'm going to make a promise to you. On this video, I'm going to talk about a quote that was very inspiring to me in my life. My name is Jim Aline with Joe's Roofing. I've thought about I'm big into quotes and motivation. And one of my favorite quotes is by a business philosopher named Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn has so much great information. But one of my favorite quotes from him is don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. And what that means to me is that I always want to be able to gain more knowledge. Like when I see a problem in that I'm facing and I'm struggling with it, I look at that as an opportunity to gain more knowledge and become better as a person. So if you'd like to hear more about this or have me drop some more quotes on this, follow us on social media for more great information, right? So you could drop this in so many different ways. But it's all fits within that framework, right? Promise, branding, seed, topic, training, call to action, sign off. That was just off the head there. Now let's look at some video exercises, right? I got you. If you guys have a pen and paper right now, do this, right? Like one of my mentors always says this quote, that money loves speed. The people who execute on this as quickly as possible are the ones who are going to gain the most value. So what I'd like you to do is pick 3 topics, shoot 3 videos, 2-3 minutes each. If something, this is another thing that, that 2-3 minute mark is a good measurement. But if it's something that you can't explain, like if you can't talk about in 2-3 minutes, it's okay to go longer. But shoot for things that break down the subjects into 2 or 3 minute bits. Pull out your iPhone, your Samsung, whatever you have, grab the webcam on your computer, whatever it is. Don't overthink it and start to do it. I promise you it will work. Who on here, drop a 3 in the chat if you will commit to doing this, to trying this, to doing this framework today. Ron's in. Ingrid, Dom, Dave. What I want you to do, like if you do this, tag Roofer Marketers or Roofing Success on any of the platforms that you're posting on, and I'll I'll give you a critique on it if you want. I'll share it if you want, whatever you want. Like I'll do that for you guys, because it's imperative that you do this quickly. Put it together, get some videos shot and just get them out there into the world. If you are not embarrassed by the first iteration of things that you do, you didn't move fast enough. Like I said, we were looking that I showed that video clip from like 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, to this audience of 300, agency owners that I was speaking to. And it's like, man, it was like, my goodness, man, like everything about it was terrible. Everything about it was terrible. And so that's a proud moment for me when you have it's the way you look at things, right? Like, and so for me, I'm proud that I started it, right? That I got started, and now I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos. It'll take you hours to, like, I don't know if you can ever hit the bottom of our social media if you continue scrolling, right? So just do it first. Now let's move on into repurposing your content. One of the things that we don't think about is that we can post more than once. We could post the same content more than once. So on average right now, like if you put a post up on Facebook, on your business page, you might get 3 to 5% of the people who like your page that even shows up in their feed. If people start to like and comment and share and it gets some engagement, you may get up to 10, as high as 15% of the people on your feed, right? Or who have liked your page. So let's do the math on that, right? So you have 1,000 people that like your content, right? Or that like your page. You post, 30 of them see it, right? Only 30 of them see it. So don't be afraid to put this content back out over time. You can look through all of our social media and kind of get an idea. I know we're a digital marketing agency and not a roofing company, but you'll get an idea. Like we're still posting clips of podcasts that I did 2-3 years ago, because it's great information and we still get engagement and we still get likes and we still get comments, because there's a lot of people who haven't seen that clip. So because it was only shown to a few people, and then we show it another time and it gets a lot of views. I have a specific clip with Dmitry Lipinski that we've posted like 5 or 6 times now on different social media platforms. And it has varied in engagement. On TikTok, it has like 200. One of the clips, one of the times that we posted it got 200,000 views. I think it's up to like 220, 250 now. Another time we posted it was at like 55, 58,000. Another time we posted it got another 25, 30,000. And then we posted it and then we also posted it on Instagram and on Facebook and on, LinkedIn, and all over the place. So it's getting multiple views on all the different platforms. And we've posted it multiple times on those different platforms. So we're maximizing the engagement that we're getting for our specific content. A simple way to do that is using social media management tools like Sendable, Social Pilot, Sprout Social, Planable, and Meet Edgar. These tools, and there's probably more of them out there now that I don't even know about. But what you're looking for in these tools is the ability to just schedule your posts. So you create your videos. Like I said, you do this in batches, right? So you film 3, 4, 5 videos and you put them out. Here's one for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Then the next Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then the next Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now you're a month or 2 in and you go, oh, now I'll backfill some of these other days, Tuesday, Thursday, with clips that I posted a month or so ago. And then you start to fill this in. So the first thing that you want is to automate, to be able to build out your calendar and insert your posts, and it'll automatically post to your social media platforms. The other thing that I look for in these social media platform or posting solutions is what's referred to as an evergreen content provider. So Sendable, for example, they call them queues. So you can have like cues around topics. So it could be a cue around a character, like we said, character story, teaching on a topic, being an expert. So all of those categories that you have, and then every time you shoot a video, you just you drop it in that cue. And then that queue has a schedule. That schedule is, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. like that. And then the software kind of takes the content, makes a random order out of it, and then just automatically posts it at that time. So now you're not telling it which day and time to post that specific post. You're creating these buckets that have available times on them, and it just, so you drop it in the bucket and it just posts out of that bucket. When it gets to the bottom of that bucket, it just reshuffles it and continues to post. So look for evergreen options. There are some things to think about in terms of these automated solutions. I do believe that done is better than perfect. So if you don't have time, just use some of these tools. Some of the social media platforms now are giving a little bit of a benefit to posting natively on their platforms. So if you have a video clip and you go and you upload it into your Instagram as an Instagram reel, and you edit it in the Instagram editor and add captions and, do some things to it and then post it, there's a theory that is beneficial for the algorithm, and that Instagram likes that, TikTok likes that you're using their editor to do it. And it feels like it's more authentic. So there are benefits to posting individually, but again, done is better than perfect, right? So using these auto posters in the beginning, and then phase 2, do something a little bit better. Okay, now I'm going to post one reel a day natively in the app, right? So I'm going to let these guys post all the normal content, and then I'm going to post once a week on TikTok and Instagram Reels, and then I'm going to post two times a week on those through the native app, and then I'm going to train my office team to be able to do this for me. And then so there's levels to it. The first thing is just get started, right? So the next steps, right? The next steps here are customize your content plan, block the day and time you're going to shoot, right? So pick a time. Mondays are crazy a lot of times, right? So say, hey, on Friday afternoons, I have this time blocked. I'm going to go and do this. Or I go check on our jobs. I go check on our jobs on these days of the week. I'm going to be out in the field, so I'm going to shoot on these days. Or I'm going to shoot once a day, but block time on your calendar. Shoot all the videos at once, use the framework, use the concepts, use the category buckets, and then set up your syndication to let this run essentially on, as much on autopilot as possible. That was a lot, right? So what did you learn? What are you going to implement? Drop it in chat. What did you learn? What takeaways do you have? What are you going to implement? If you want to unmute, feel free to unmute. I don't know if Dave is still on here. You said you have some experience in photography and cinematography and things like that. Feel free to unmute, see what you think about some of the concepts and things like that. Dave says, stop procrastinating, man. Procrastination is tough. Like it's hard not to, right? Like it's so hard not to procrastinate, Dave. It's amazing, man. Andy said, schedule the time, right?
Yes. So I'm on here. Can you hear me?
I can, Dave.
This
Yeah.
is Dave Baker.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, how are you?
I'm doing great. Honestly, I've got probably 15, 20 very, very good testimonials of customers that I haven't even done anything with. And it's just so stupid that I don't have anything up there. A lot of it is little bit of background, just really quickly. I was diagnosed December with stage 3 throat cancer.
Oh man.
So yeah, I knew I wasn't going to shut my business down or anything. And I knew, I had a doctor's claimed a 98% success rate. So I did run a couple appointments early on until I couldn't because of treatment. But I didn't let any of my clients or future clients know, because I didn't want them to, well, this guy's might not be with us, in 6 months, and what's my warranty and what's all that stuff. So
Yeah.
just getting right back into it. And I appreciate my takeaway from what you're showing. It's all very powerful. They say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. How much is video worth?
Oh my goodness.
And
So
then
powerful.
and even more so, not from us talking, but our clients. I have no problem. You got a happy client. I just pull out my my iPhone and I say, hey, I know you're really happy with us, and this is how we stay in business, is through referrals.
That's
Can
right.
you say a few words? And they just open up and they just start talking.
A good one of my best friend growing up, he just asks for things, right? Like it was just this crazy thing that he just like, we'd be at a restaurant, he'll ask for a discount, right? Like I'm like, he's like, well, if you don't ask. So the premise of it was, if you don't, you never get what you don't ask for.
That's exactly right.
And so it's amazing how many times, man, you pull out that phone and you're like, hey, would you mind saying a few words about the experience that you had with our company, right? And you just pull it out and they'll tell this great story. And man, it's so cool, right? It's so cool that, but you won't get what you don't ask for. Stop procrastinating. You got to do this stuff. So we've covered how to create video for social media, a weekly planning process for posting, the perfect video framework to help you get over those hurdles and start to have the conversations and create good content, how to syndicate the content for maximum reach, and repurposing the content for increasing your posts. If there's any questions, drop them in the chat. Feel free to unmute. If you want to see how we can help you solve your problem from a digital marketing perspective and help you out in that regard, from web development, SEO, Facebook ads, Google ads, reputation management, lead management, and all the way through the customer journey with your Job Nimbus CRM, through project management, material ordering, invoicing, estimates, all of that fun stuff, let us know. Get in touch. Also, Roofing Success Podcast, take a listen. I interview successful roofing contractors on how they found success, the lessons they've learned. 160 plus great episodes. Check it out on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube if you want to see the video version. Appreciate everyone's time today. If anyone else has any questions, I'll stick around for a couple of minutes. Otherwise, feel free to jump off and go along with your day. Shoot the video, tag us. Let's go. All right, Diana said, I'd like to place or search or find topics to discuss, examples to make videos more interesting and not have to think about it so much. An easy one, Diana, let me just show you one. Let me show you a little trick here. All right. This is a website called Answer the Public. In Answer the Public, we can type in like roof replacement, right? United States, search. Shut that off. So now it's going to come up with topics for you. Porter, no problem. Ignacio, Gray Avenue. All right. So this stuff makes it easy, right? So now it's just loading questions, right? And they load questions based on who, where, which, will, are, what, how, when, all of that, all of these different questions. So let me see if I can get down to there's a list version of it, right? Like, so roof replacement and solar panels, roof replacement, average cost, roof replacement and insurance, roof replacement, Brisbane, roof replacement, building regulations, building permit, roof replacement before selling your home. Is it a good idea? Is it not a good idea? Like, here's like so many questions, Diana, that, this is it right here, right? Renee said, do you offer some classes for beginning contractors? We don't. We do these monthly webinars on different topics. If you're looking for more formal training, check out the Pitch Pro movement, Adam Bensman's Pitch Pro movement, where you will find a much higher degree of coaching and training from a newer company all the way through a very experienced company. So is this helpful, Diana? Like, this is gold right here, right? You could just type in anything into Answer the Public and it's going to come up with let's see, it looks like I did a search for ice dams in the past. Wants me to unlock something, but there you go. Hopefully that's helpful. So many questions that need to be answered. And then don't be afraid to tell your story and connect with people. That's another part of it that, I was talking with John Senick, John the Roof Pro, recently, and he's like, when he started his social media content was all educational, like just 100% educational. And then he changed and he started inserting more, not personal, but things that reflected him as an individual. His videographer, Paul West, from Sky High Cinema, he was like, we needed to humanize John, right? Like we needed to show like a human version of John because he's just this vast array of knowledge about roofing and shingles and things like that, that it was like, he's too unapproachable. But there's this human side to all of us, right? That we're not just the expert at something. There's a human side to us. Have those conversations. And it will definitely be beneficial to your business. So great to have everyone on. If there's no other questions, we'll let everyone go for the day. It's like 12:05 now Central Time. So Renee, hopefully that'll be helpful for you. Talk to you guys soon.